Poem that we are going to discuss today is titled King Porus, A Legend of Old, written by Michael Madhusudan Dutt. Dutt was born in 1824 in Calcutta and he died in 1873. His famous work is a great Bengali epic titled Meghnadwad. Translation of Ratnavali is also his important work, and we have already discussed one of his poems, that is the Queen of Delhi's Dream, and today we will be discussing King Porus. King Porus, the poem was written in 1843 and it is based on a historical incident. It is a long dramatic narrative poem written in 6 stanzas, and it deals with the legend of ancient India. uh, the background is historical, and the period about which the poet is talking is 327 BC. So, before we begin the poem, just a little background of the poem. Now, Alexander was the king of Macedonia and he wished to conquer the world. So, he invaded land after lands, and first he conquered Persia and then he moved towards India. Now, the kings of India could not stop him, and most of the Indian kings surrendered without fighting. There was a small kingdom in the northwest of India which was ruled by King Porus. So, when Alexander arrived at the kingdom of King Porus, Porus stood against him and fought like a hero. Although Porus he had a very small army, he fought with bravery and pride. But at last he was defeated and he was imprisoned. And what happened after that imprisonment is narrated in the poem. So, we begin with the poem. Now, in the first stanza, the poet he gives an account of the night before the day when Alexander was about to enter the city of King Porus. Loudly the midnight tempest sang, ah, it was thy dirge, fair liberty, and clouds in thundering accents roared, unheeded, warning from on high. The rain in darksome torrents fell. Hydaspes waved did onward sweep, like fury passions headlong flow, to meet the awakened calling deep. The lightning flashed bright dazzling, like fair woman's glance from beneath her veil, and on the heaving, troubled air there was moaning sound of wail. So here in the first stanza, we see the personification of liberty. Look at the first two lines. Loudly the midnight tempest sang. So the night wind, the winds, they were blowing strongly at midnight, and it appeared as if the winds sang a song of death. Dirge is a song sung for a dead person. So it appeared that the winds were blowing, and it appeared as if the winds were singing a of song for a dead person. And here that dead person would be liberty. Liberty, that is freedom, isn't it? So the independence was going to be dead. The liberty was going to be dead, and that is why the poet calls it the dirge for fair liberty. And clouds in thundering accents roared, and the thundering of the clouds could be heard, unheeded warning from on high. So all these things, this situation, it appeared to be a warning, and unheeded means not paying attention. So unheeded warning from the sky. The rain and darksome torrents fell. So there was heavy rain, and Hydaspes, that is the wave, Hydaspes, it moved forward, And like fury, passion's headlong flow to meet the awakened calling deep. Deep, deep is the sea. So it moved forward to meet the deep, that is the sea. The lightnings flashed bright, and there was lightning, and it flashed bright, dazzling, shining, like fair woman's glance from beneath her veil. So the lightning, it flashed bright and it dazzled just like a fair woman's glance from beneath her veil. Veil is the cover. That is the fair woman glancing from beneath her cover. So there is a simile here. The lightning, it is compared to the fair woman's glance from beneath her veil. And on the heaving troubled air, there was a moaning sound of wail. Wail means cry. So with all these ups and downs, what was there? There was a moaning sound of wail. But in thy unsuspecting sons did heedless slumber. Slumber means sleep. And in, that is, he is referring to India. But India's unsuspecting sons, they were sleeping without paying attention to all these disturbances that were occurring. While the foe came in stealthy step of death. While the foe is the enemy. So the enemy, it came silently. It came silently while the foe came in stealthy step of death. Came as the tiger, noiseless, slow, to close at once its victim's breath. So here the enemy, that is Alexander, isn't it? Alexander and his army. It came very silently, and again there is a use of a simile here. He has been compared to tiger. Just as the tiger comes noiseless and slowly to attack on its victim, so did the enemy march forward like a tiger. Alas, they knew not, amidst this gloom, this war of elements was nursed like to an earthquake in the womb of a volcano, deep and low, a deadlier storm on them to burst. So, amidst this gloomy atmosphere, they were not aware that just as an earthquake, uh, which is there in the womb of the volcano, so deep and low, there was a deadlier storm, and the deadlier storm was about to burst. And the people and the king and his people, they were not aware about this storm which was about to burst. Then the next stanza, in the next stanza, that this is the second stanza of the poem, when he describes the morning, that is what happened in the morning. It was morn the next day. It was morn, the Lord of Day from gold Sumero's palace bright looked on his own sweet clime, but lo, the glorious flag to which the world in awe once bowed, there in defiance waved on India's gales, triumphant, proud. So it was morning, and the Lord of the Day, that is the sun, uh, the sun, there was the sun rose from the gold Sumero's palace, and it was bright, and it looked on its sweet climb, that is climate, but lo, the glorious flag. Now here the glorious flag, it is the flag of Porus. So Porus waved his flag, uh, to which the world in awe once bowed, there in defiance waved on India's gales. So here the very strong wind was blowing, and with the wind blowing, the flag of Porus, it waved. Triumphant, proud. Then rose the dreadful yell, then lion like each warrior brave rushed on the coming foe to strike for freedom or the grave. So suddenly everybody was startled, and but the even the men of King Porus, they fought bravely. They rushed towards the coming foe, that is the enemy, and they fought for to strike for freedom, that is they fought for freedom or the grave. They fought either to uh, attain independence or to die. The grave that is die. O death, upon thy glory altar, what blood libations freely flowed. O earth, on that bright morn, what thousands rendered to thee the dust they owed. But before the Macedonians driven, fell India's hardy sons, proud mountain oaks by thunders riven, that for their country's freedom bled, and made on gore their glorious bed. O death, again death is personified here. So the poet is talking to the death. O death, upon thy glory altar. Altar is the platform where the god is worshipped. So upon the glory altar, what blood libations freely flow. Libations is a liquid that is poured as an offering to the gods and goddesses. So what blood libations freely flowed. So blood flowed freely. O earth, on that bright morn, what thousands rendered to thee the dust they owed. So on earth, the dead bodies could be seen. So that on that bright morning, thousands of soldiers they were killed. But before the Macedonians driven, fell India's hardy sons. So the brave sons of India, that is the men of King Porus' army, they fell before the Macedonians, before the army of Alexander. Proud mountain oaks by thunders driven. So these men, they were like proud mountain oaks. Oak is the tree that grows on the mountain. So they stood proudly against these enemies, that for their country's freedom bled. That for their country's freedom bled. So they died for their country and made on gold their glorious bed. And they made on gold, gold is blood. So their glory, they made, that is they died and their glorious bed were made on the blood. So these are the two stanzas of the poem King Porus that we have discussed, and in our next section we'll be discussing the rest of the poem. Thank you.